So good to have you join us. Remember that for about 4 days, the northern part of Cross River State came alive when the APC global candidate, distinguished Senator Prince Basi Edelutu, took a consultative tour and thank you visit to the 5 local governments in the northern part of Cross River State. Now, this is quite apt because these are the political seasons, and in a matter of weeks, we would be hitting the streets, every nook and cranny of Cross River State to sell, the candidate for the 2023 elections in Cross River State and in Nigeria. Now, I'm being joined by a very powerful delegation that were part of his contingent to the 5 local governments in the northern part of Cross River State. Let me have the honor by introducing TUFAM Dr. Peter Oje. He's a senior special advisor for political affairs. He's also representing the leaders of thought there that went to the northern part of Cross River State for this amazing tour and thank you visit. TUFAM, so good to have you join us. Good evening.
Good evening.
And welcome to Weekend Politics.
Thank you very much.
And the only lady in our midst, indeed, we are blessed to have a lady in our midst, Honorable Mrs. Vera Adinya, representing the women. Honorable, good evening, welcome to Weekend Politics.
Good evening.
And the very regular face we see every day, very hard-working media aide to the distinguished Senator Barrister Gboyan Akaba, media aide to Prince Utu. Good evening, sir. Good to have you join us.
Good evening, my pleasure to be here.
And let me welcome also on set Honorable Boniface Okache, Special Advisor, Urban Renewal, representing the youth here. Good evening, so good to have you join us.
Good evening, it's a pleasure.
Dr. Peter Oje, you've been a name when it has to do with politics in Cross River State. So let me start by asking this question. Why was this consultative tour and thank you visit necessary?
Thank you very much for that question. Good evening, Cross Riverians. Good evening, viewers in Cross River State and beyond. It's indeed a great pleasure for us to be here and talk with you. Yes, it was necessary for the tour because one, the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, His Excellency Senator Prince Basi Edelutu, is a politician that is heavily grassrooted. He's been in the scene for quite a long time and he understands what it is to immediately reach out to the people. You will agree with me that after the congresses in May, the candidate has not gone round. It is very traditional. But I'd like to make this point very clear. This is the first time that any candidate would ever go on a thank you tour. And when I say this, I speak on authority. I've been part of the transition in this state since 1999, and I understand this. We go on consultations before, but we've never gone to thank the people for giving us an opportunity. So Prince is breaking ranks and ensuring that at least the people who made him candidate of the APC, he can say a word of thank you to them. Beyond that, he needed to also be in a position to have an interaction with all sectors of society in a manner that will give him a proper feel of what the society expects of the kind of leadership that he should present in the state. And that happened so well in the north because he was able to interact with the different strata of society. He spoke to the elders, he spoke to the traditional institutions, he spoke to the youth, he spoke to the women, and he spoke to even what I might want to describe as non-indigent members of the Cross River State community. And he has had a feel of that. People have related with him as to what they think their concerns are in various sectors. And he's the man who is ready to hit the ground running when he eventually becomes elected, which we believe will happen by the grace of God and by the special providence of the people of Cross River State.
Well, thank you so very much, and to find Dr. Peter Oje. Let me quickly find out from Honorable Mrs. Vera Adinya. Let's look at the reception when it has to do with women. Tell us, because we down south here, we only saw videos. You were there in the field. So talk to us. Let's look at the women fold. How did they receive this going down the 5 local governments in the north?
Thank you very much. It happened that during the tour, women came out in good numbers. Gone are those days when women will sit at home and people will come and tell them stories, or during election they will call their names Mama Agnes, wife of Joe, go and vote. They will not even know what is happening. But I want to let you know that during the thank you tour, women came out. Women came out. Even our Senator Prince Otu, look at the women in the north and applauded them. So it was a very huge success.
Okay. Mr. Kwenyewakaba, you and I have come a long way in terms of this media job. And a lot of us down south here, we were told social media and all of that Prince Otu has its popularity down here. But I was really amazed when I saw footages yesterday about on this tour. Talk to us. Let's look at the media coverage that we have. Is Prince Otu receiving a much bigger reception, outside the Cross River South that people seem to talk about that it's only popular in Calabar?
Well, let me begin by saying that the name Prince Otu today in Cross River is the most acceptable name, is the most accessible name, is the most demanded name. And when I say this without any provocation. I say this with utmost humility with what I saw, what I felt. The people of the North, by all standards, showed willingness to support the South to actualize the rotational politics that have been institutionalized from 1999 to date. Power had moved from the South successfully to the Central, to the North. It is only fair, it will only be justiciable, it will only be equitable for power to return to the South. And the North spoke not just by way of their statements, even by their actions. The people in the North, the leaders, the traditional rulers, the youth, the women, came out in their numbers. Several support groups you couldn't even imagine. Don't forget, that was not a campaign. That was a thank you talk. That was a consultative talk. But it turned out to appear as if campaign has begun because of the demand for Prince Otu. Prince Otu, you agree with me, in Cross River is synonymous with human capacity development. It's synonymous with human empowerment. And for me, I think we have a lot of work to do in the South because what I saw in the North, it's a competition. I say this without mixing words. We never expected that kind of reception. We wanted to see the traditional rulers council, but it turned out to be even the village heads had to make themselves available in their comments. We were expecting the sweetness of Prince in the South that we've been hearing to transfer to the North. And this is the only opportunity. This is the seasons of sweetness. This is coming from them in the North. They were saying that we've heard about your magnanimity, we heard about your service to humanity, we heard about your empowerment, we've seen your humility being displayed. And we yearn to be part of this record. And they showed that in the reception. We never expected cultural displays. We saw it in numbers. The women scrambled. The Team Madia in the North overwhelmed the Team Madia that came from the South. I'm saying this with all amount of consciousness that Prince Otu is not just popular in the South. What I saw in the North was massive. The social media is agog with the record of activities. And this is because the people want a representation that will be meaningful. I must also quickly thank His Excellency Governor Ayade for maintaining the rotational politics, for ensuring that there's peaceful transitional politics in Cross River State, because power having moved, like I said earlier, from the South to the Central and to the North, it is returning to the South, courtesy the governor's support, courtesy the governor's arrangement. So for me, we're only waiting for the due time to celebrate our next governor with our support. With the support we've seen on ground, we're waiting for it to be consolidated because like High Chief said, Prince only went to say thank you for your support in the primaries. Prince have not even come out to say, please support me for the elections. And the people are saying, don't come back again. We are done with the North, waiting to vote you. And don't forget, our deputy governor is in the North. That is to say that North already with the South have cemented their support ahead of this election. So for me, we are waiting for celebration, and nothing short of that will be coming up.
Definitely. I know Boniface, you represent the youth, in that exercise that took place some days now. Now, let's get to see the youth involvement in all of this. Talk to us about it.
Yeah. I want to start by saying that among indices and statistics, youth are the greatest components of population of every society. And they play a very cardinal role in our politics today because they have a number. And when the principal and the incoming governor of Cross River, distinguished Senator Prince came to the north, he has overwhelming support from all the youths across board in the 5 local government areas of Cross River State. Why they did have, because Lesotho has a track record of performance as a senator, was a youth-friendly senator when he was a senator. And if you look at the agitations of violence, agitations, demands today of equity, of inclusive government, mostly come from the youth. So when they go through the archives of Cross River State and discover that he was a friendly person to the youth when he was a senator, all his programs and empowerment, like what we used to call him, is an inventor of empowerment program in Cross River State, which is friendly program to the youth. And actually when he went across the 5 local governments, he was able to demonstrate that yes, actually it's coming an inclusive government that will accommodate the youth, both in agricultural programs and programs, both in appointment and other skill acquisition programs. So they came out in numbers. So that shows that it's going to form a friendly government, a government that will incorporate the youth in different phases of economy. So the support for him and the youth was very overwhelming.
Okay, thank you very much. Doctor, let's look at the footfall of what we had between Sunday and Thursday. Would we say we've achieved sufficient result that we have a backing from the North come 2023?
If I were to give you a straight answer, I would still say yes. But you know, politics is highly dynamic. When I had my own close-up with the governorship candidate, he told me that he doesn't feel like being the North. The enthusiasm that the people from the North showed to him was such that he felt he was so very much at home. And don't forget, Prince Otu is heavily and deeply rooted in the North. He's schooled in the North. As a matter of fact, when we got to local government, he shocked the entire populace because he spoke in the local language. And the reverberating applause that he got obviously shows that this is our son who has come from. So for me, I think that the fallouts are quite basketful. And the people are ready for it. And we kept telling them at all stages that, oh, this is not a campaign. This is just a thank you talk. This is a consultation. Speak to us. Let us know what you think. Let us see the areas that you would like focus to be on. And actually, the people did not hold back at all. They spoke to us. And when the candidate was responding, as in all cases that he made responses, he assured the people that, look, this is a government that's going to be all-inclusive, like my brother Bonnie has said, yeah, and this is a government that will respond to the people's needs. In fact, he spoke like someone who understands the dynamics of the challenges of the North, because he spoke about the Okuku market. I'll give you an instance. In speaking about the Okuku market, he wasn't speaking at it as if the state government was going to take over the market. We all know that markets are under local government. Of course, I was commissioner for local government, so I understand that. But he spoke as an entrepreneur. He spoke as someone who understands what it means to put that market back to what it used to be. I schooled in Maryland, so I understand what Okuku market meant for all of us. It was a life wire of commercial activities in the whole of the northern central district. And for someone who had lived there, the incoming governor knew exactly what he needed to do. And he will assist the local government to ensure that business thrives once again. And thank God, the current administration is already doing a dual carriageway, which will become an evacuation corridor for a lot of the farm produce that we get. Don't forget that Northern Cross River State is agrarian in occupation. And because it is agrarian, they will need to evacuate their farm produce. And the government that is incoming will consolidate on what the present government of Senator Professor Ben Ayade has done in ensuring that they open up the rural areas. And with a market like the Okuku market, we certainly would mean that Northern Cross River will properly factor into the scheme of things as it were. So there's a lot to pick from that consultation. And I believe that the team is already putting together some of the things that will that came out from that include the interaction with the various sectors of society, and that will be integrated eventually when the manifestos are out. And of course, when we return for campaigns, you will hear what the proposals will be.
Most definitely. Thank you very much, Tufam Doctor. At this point, let's quickly take a very short commercial break. And when we're back, we'll continue our discuss with this great delegation that are here to talk to us on the recently concluded tour and thank you visit. Stay with us. It's Weekend Politics. Don't go anywhere. Right, so good to have you back from that commercial break. It's still Weekend Politics, and we are live here in the city center, Calabar, CRBC Channel 27. Now, remember that we've been talking with Ntufam Dr. Peter Ojie, Senior Special Advisor, Political Affairs, and he is representing the leaders of thought from the north there. And we have in the studio Honorable Mrs. Vera Adinya, representing the women, and just beside him, Barrister Kwenyo Akaba, Media Aid to Distinguished Senator Prince Otu, and Honorable Boniface Okache, Special Advisor, Urban Development, representing the youth. Before we went on our break, Dr. Peter Ojie gave us his view on what we should be looking at as the footfalls from that tour. Now, let me speak with you now, Mrs. Adinya, Honorable Adinya. Let's look at the preparation for the women. How prepared are they? In matter of weeks, we would be hitting the street and every corner to campaign. How prepared are the women to push this agenda?
All right. I want to let you know that right from the hill of Obanleku, where the thank you tour started, to the plain of Yala, where it ended in the north, the women promised our Prince Otu that he should not bother about the north. We, the women, we are ready. We are ready to vote. We are ready to bring out our children to vote. We are ready to even encourage our men to stand. We are doing something. We are not going to sleep. Just as I earlier said, gone are those days that women are just fold their hands, doing nothing. Now we are up and doing. And there is something that pushed the women to do more. Some people said Prince Bassey Otu empowered them. Some said their business went down. He encouraged them. He empowered them. So all these ones gave the women the urge to do more. And I want to let you know, I am one of the leaders in one of the powerful support group in the north. We have already arranged ourselves how to move on. We have already arranged ourselves how to mobilize everybody in the rural areas coming to our urban areas, how to see to the election come 2023 to see how we can win. And I want to let you know that Cross River North has won already. With the powerful women we are seeing in Cross River North, with all our people, even those in the rural areas, they are up to vote. And Cross River State, Cross River North has won already. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Barrister Kwenyo, let me take you back to the legal angle now. Remember, some weeks back, Prince and the team were at the court for some political issues. And talk to us on that, because we just want to know that the path is clear. There's no hurdle ahead of us. Well, let me just take us back before I bring us back to this tour. Let's put that in perspective clearly. What's the situation at the moment?
Well, let me say that as a lawyer, even though the matter is in court, commenting on EPP will be sub judice, but I wish to say that my opinion in that matter, the question that Senator John Owanen is asking the court is a question that the party has the answer. And even by action, the party has given the answer. The question of Prince Otu being the candidate of the party, the question of Prince Otu being duly cleared by the party, and the party have long uploaded the candidate of the party across the nation, and Prince Otu is the candidate of the party. So being in court is just dramatic, whereby the answer to the question already been answered. So we're only waiting for the date where the APC as a party in that matter will come to court and put to the court the answer to the question that Senator Wayana is asking. It's commonsensical. It's like elementary law, because party activities is exclusively the party's responsibility. It's internal. The party determines who flies the flag. You cannot interfere with the affairs of the party. Now, where the party says you are their candidate, so it is. So for me, it's mere distraction, to make people feel something is wrong somewhere. But good enough, we are working stronger, as you can see, having the support of all the party structures in the state and in the national. And you agree, we have not seen anybody come up to raise his head that I'm another candidate. So it's in a matter of a couple of weeks to rest. And let me also say this. For me, Rizzo 2 has enjoyed maximum support. That is because of its antecedent. Rizzo 2 did not only emerge by way of consensus, where all other governments were aspirant consented to the consensus. The consensus metamorphosed into primaries that the delegates of the same political party express their willingness to give him their mandate massively. The second and the third was just like a child's play. When a man scores 800 votes and the second person is scoring only 70 and 60 votes, it's funny. So Prince 2 is a candidate that crisscrosses APC. It's a candidate that even the PDP is sympathizing with his candidacy. It's a candidate that even the Labour Party are already fraternizing with his candidacy. It's a candidate that has been able to bring together all interests as a man that has what it takes to take us to the next level. So for me, the court is just a merry-go-round.
So absolutely there's no barrier in
Absolutely nothing whatsoever.
Okay. On one phase, during the course of this tour, we saw the deputy governorship candidate being unveiled in Abuja, and you are representing the youth. I mean, when I saw Right Honorable Peter Ode, coming out, being unveiled, it's prayer answered for the younger generation, for the youth. Now, talk to us on that, and how are the youth celebrating Peter Ode?
Well, I think all Crossivarians watched it on screen, and the moment the candidate, the volunteer candidate, and the party made that public declaration, you can see an ovation. We witness a very loud ovation of acceptability among the youth, because Right Honorable Peter belongs to the youth. If you look at his age, if you look at his character and his size, you know that he's a youth. So he had an overwhelming support, and besides that, the choice of his candidate, we saw an equity and acceptability. If you look at the personal state component from the three senatorial background, the governorship candidate is coming from the south, likely by the arrangement of the party structure. The speaker of the Crossriver State House is likely to come from the central. So there was a need to get a deputy governor from the north, which is an equity in the sharing of these three powerful structures. And the youth look at it as equity, fairness, in nominating somebody from the north. So the choice of Peter has a wide acceptability among the youth in the north. That's why you watch your screen, it was a wide celebration when it was on there. Even the following day, I witnessed it. Majority of the youth trooping into his house to tell him congratulations. It's a manifestation of acceptability. And we from the north, we saw the scenario that Abuja shouldn't be marginalized. And the choice of deputy coming from Abuja was what we desired, because it has to do with equity even within the Northern Central District, that Abuja have not had any durable position. So giving Abuja the deputy governor was fair and just. So it was widely accepted.
Excellent. Dr. Peter J., you have been a very prominent figure in the political space in Cross River State and beyond. And this just concluded tour you featured prominently. I'd love you to talk to us now, because you tried giving us in a nutshell. So I want you to expand more, because at every local government that the team went, the candidate had to take some particular concerns now. So Cross Rivers that are watching us would love to know those areas that His Excellency in waiting, took down, to sort them out from the five local governments that he went to say thank you.
Yes, that was the whole idea of the tour. It was a two-leg thing, and like the governor in waiting himself would say, he added a third tripod. He made it a tripod. Then look, it's come first to thank the people of the North for joining the rest of Cross River State in Tuesday as standard bearer for the APC. He's come to thank the people of the North for giving Cross River State His Excellency Senator Professor Ben Mayade, who is a man of faith, who is a committed man, a principled man, and who had made this to happen, ensuring that the principle of rotation, the principles of equity among the three senatorial districts of Cross River State is properly sustained and institutionalized. And then he has come to listen to us, to enable him integrate what the people of the North would particularly want, so that will become part of his manifesto, that will become part of his program. And true to type, all five LGAs of the North spoke to the incoming governor according to the peculiarities and challenges that are faced. When we were in Obaniku, where we started the tour, the people of Obaniku spoke about their concerns, and the incoming governor responded to those concerns in assuring the people that he would not only continue some of the things that His Excellency the current governor of Cross River State has put on ground and ensure that they come into fruition and activate them and ensure the maximal benefit to the people. They would also initiate those things which the people wanted very uniquely for them. And when we got to Obudu, he dealt with it the same way, because the Obudu people are so grateful that Cross River State gave Obudu people the opportunity to produce the governor. But even at that, they are also part of the state. And so, that will need the attention of the incoming governor. And he obliged them. In Ogoja and Bekwara, where we visited them, they spoke about it. For instance, he spoke about the fact that there are two granite vegetable oil milling facility in Bekwara, which he's ready to activate and ensure that he can, going by his own focus on agriculture, ensure that he can activate intensive and large-scale granite farming to feed that. In Ogoja, he talked about the fact that he's also aware that what we now eat in the country as Abakaliki rice is actually rice that is farmed in Ogoja and the neighboring LGAs. And I thank God that we have the largest mill yet in Africa situated in Ogoja. So what that means is to encourage the foresight of His Excellency, the current governor of Cross River State, and just ensure that our people can key into this. That way, we would also be generating a lot of employment, we will also be generating a lot of economic activity, and we will also be enhancing commercial visibility and viability of the local governments of the North. And of course, in Yala, he spoke so emotionally and passionately about the Okuku market, how that will also generate a lot of economic activity for the people of Yala, and how the roads, and especially the roads that link us outward, the Ukele roads and several things that the governor has also been put on the map, and how he would also try to translate that. So he responded to the peculiarities of each of the five local governments. And don't forget that this is a process. We have now listened. We're taking all of this. We will now process all that, and then it will come out in a final actionable program that anybody can take to the bank. And those actionable programs will be released to Cross Riverians at the beginning of our campaigns. You get to know, and you can hold us down to the fact that you said this, you said this, you said this. So that's a process that we hope to complete. And as we come back to begin campaigns in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to tell Cross Riverians what we have. And also let me also add this. The tour is a statewide tour. We've only done one senatorial district. We will need to go through the two remaining senatorial districts, that is Central and the South, in order that we can prepare a compendium of what the people of Cross River need. And that will become the Bible, if you like. That will become the path that the Prince of Two administration will have for the people of Cross River.
Well, thank you so very much. Very detailed there. Now, let me quickly find out from Mrs. Adinya. We've heard from Dufam Dr. Peter Ogier. He's laid a very good foundation of sort of a blueprint that we are expecting. Now, a lot of women are watching this program now. Let's get to find out. The Prince of Two Peter Ode ticket. What would it bring to the women?
All right. I can remember vividly in the land of Obanlipo where he started the thank you tour. Women came out to tell him welcome. And he told the women that I know I have been doing this, I've been doing good to people when I was not even having enough. When I was just a senator. Is it now that I will become a governor that I will not do? And everyone clapped. It was a very good one. And we know that is someone that is like a Messiah, a Savior to people. Prince Otu, like the less privileged, and always assist and always help them to stand. I remember someone that sat close to me, a woman that sat close to me, was even saying her testimony, how she's living in her own house that she built, who is in support. Prince Otu was in support of that. So now, I want to let you know that Prince Otu has assured the women what he's going to do. He will even do more than what he has done before. I want to let you know that Governor Yade has tried for women, at least empowering people, giving them at least what they can take care of themselves. I want to let you know again that Prince Otu is coming to do more because women have this assurance.
Definitely. I love the last statement. Women have this assurance. Let's look at the media. Now, a lot of stuff have been put out there. You are the media aid of the incoming governor, by God's grace. Let's look at what's your take, because Cross River State is just a year and I moved to the APC. All this while it's been the umbrella. So going to the federal government, and you also have to take a trip, like what Jufam said, to the other two senatorial districts. All this while it's been the umbrella. So what kind of media strategy, what kind of campaigns would you put out there to ensure that, look, it's no longer the umbrella, it's now the food?
And let me say this. I've said it before severally, that the political parties are mere vehicles. They are no human beings. Politics is about persons. We have hygiene to find people.
We don't have their faces on the ballot papers.
No. That's why I'm saying it's about persons.
Okay.
Now, it is the persons that drive the processes. When you have men of the podium, men of capacity, men with content and character and credentials, you can go to sleep because they are the ones that will project, they are the ones that will define and direct the people to where they should go. The people will depend on the results that you have brought over the years, regardless of the vehicles that you use in bringing the result. Our destinations are not determined because we're driving a particular vehicle. They are determined because we know we're going to. So for us, we're in APC today. Who were the ones in PDP yesterday? And the records on PDP were records that we set up. Having moved, the people have moved with us. Cross River is APC. I'm saying this without mixing words. The entire North, political gladiators, political juggernauts, were with us. Anybody that was not there with us is not a politician. He's trying to do some businesses somewhere and will return to us. So for me, we will get there as the time graduates. Now let me also make this point worthy of note. Prince Otu has several on his table to present. For the youth, he talked about education. fundamentally, because when you're educated, you're liberated from all sort of inadequacies and challenges. Now, for the youth, talk about empowering them. We talked about the ease, emancipating them, employing them, and educating them. The moment we liberate the youth from the slumber they are today, Cross River State is liberated. In the security sector, we talked about regular engagement with the security agencies to return the status quo. You must agree that the government having set up operational party in Cross River State. Security has returned, no more car clashes, people are no more running helter-skelter. Prince said he will step up on the foundation the government has laid on industrialization. You also agree with me, any industry that have not been completed is 60-70% completed. Meaning that first thing is to complete those industries and put them to functionality. Prince have also assured the people, because everything that is moving up north is coming from Cross River, agricultural way. We invest in agriculture. Our health system will be improved. He did those things clear while he was in the Senate. Having been Senate Chairman on Finance, Senate Chairman on Banking and other financial institutions, House Committee Chairman on Petroleum, he shows his pedigree to deliver on assignment. I can continue to name them. Our sports, he said the youth, if you go and play in Manchester, you're already a billionaire. He will engage the sports sector so that our young people will begin to be engaged properly in the sports and bring laurels to Cross River State and indeed Nigeria. I can continue to mention. But the bottom line is that he talked about sustainability and continuity from where His Excellency Senator Professor Yade will stop. And that is confidence for us.
Okay, so,
and PDP does not have this kind of mantra.
So obviously it will be a problem to know the logo to go take print for the APC candidate. It will be a problem.
It won't be a problem because the people know Prince too. Don't forget there was a time he ran under Labour Party and it became a problem in the South. Because of the man Prince too. There was no party like Labour Party in Cross River. But the man Prince too made people to follow Labour Party. Now today with Prince too, the direction is APC. I can assure you. And not just APC members, the PDP members are whining and dining with the APC because of Prince too. And all other political parties. So for us, it will be celebration, victory, and swearing in.
Okay, definitely. Honorable Boniface, there's something we must give to this administration of Sabena Yade, and that is engaging the youth. We must give it to him. Now, just like the same question I asked Mrs. Adinya, the Peter Ode, let me come this way, the Prince of Two Peter Ode ticket, what would he have for the youth? Of course,
the Prince Peter ticket.
Yes.
Well, like my friend, Pastor Kenya said, and if you go back to my starting, I told you if you look at most of the agitation, even what constitutes violence to the and criminality like that, is because the youth are not engaged. And arguments take a lot of situations, societal problems. And so from his presentation and from all the key points he raised when he visited the north, we have gathered that the youth will be properly engaged. You know, what gave rise to greater support of the youth in Governor Ayade's administration is an expansion of government accommodation. And he said in his caption that it's going to sustain the legacy of Ayade and expand beyond what he has done. It therefore means that the youth have assurance, the youth have hope that in the agricultural sector and the industrial drive of Ayade that will be expanded, that will be accommodated. Even the expansion of government and other appointments and all that will be made. And there's something you mentioned in the north that is very cardinal to my heart and the youth. It's a meaningful engagement. And the youth will be meaningfully engaged. And he said that he's going to create millionaires among the youth. It therefore means that it has a loaded package for the youth in terms of agricultural design, in terms of industrialization, in terms of expanding their scope of knowledge, that is the educational sector. You know, those are all indices that will enhance productivity and development of the youth in Cross River State. So I think he has a loaded package and program for the youth that will prepare them
into greater heights, definitely. I'm getting signals from my producer that we should bring the show to an end, but I would just have to give us a minute or two to tell us, Tufam, I'll start with you. The campaigns are starting next month. What are we going to campaign on? And also give us your parting shots. We'll just take 1 more minute.
Thank you. We're campaigning on issues. Like Vice Article said, political parties are vehicles. The dynamism of human nature shows that where man goes, that's where his interest is. And crossover state, yes, a few years back, crossover state was PDP. We're now APC. And that's the truth. You can take that to the bank. We know that. And the content of who is APC clearly indicates what the direction of cross-the is. The campaigns have not started. What we did in the north and what we will do in central is certainly not campaign. If it is campaign, you know that some of us have had the exposure and the experience on how to manage elections. And I enjoy a singular privilege of having been part of almost who is who in Cross River State in terms of the making of who is who in Cross River State. And so I understand the dynamics of the campaign. But the processes that we're engaging in now are processes that will fine-tune the deliverables that we will take to the people of Cross River State. You will have a robust campaign. You have a campaign of issues. We have driven our politics as cross-riverians because we are civilized people. We have driven our politics from the mundane to a higher level. So we're going to campaign on. We'd like to engage our people on the issue. Even the consultation that we started up north is a consultation that is based on issues. We don't speak personalities. We don't go out to criticize our opponent. We give them the opportunities. Engage us on issues. And let's take on that. If you have a better thing for cross-riverians, the citizens will judge. And when the time for judgment comes, they will use their PVCs. For me, and for those of us on this side, we know certainly how the judgment will go. And we're very convinced that by May next year, we'll be in government.
Definitely. Ms. Adeya, let's get your parting shot.
I want to say that nobody should take paracetamol on someone's wellness, because if you do, you are harming yourself. For we Cross River North, we are standing for Prince Otu. Prince Otu is already there. And I know that Cross River as a whole is for Prince Otu, because we know what is going to have for us.
Thank you very much.
We'll be campaigning on track records. His records have been resoundingly outstanding, and his records speak for him to become the next governor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Boniface. Let's get your parting shot.
Like Tufam said, our campaign and sensitization is on issues based, not on personal character deformation like some people are doing. It's on issue based. And you always put the record on the table for people to see. Last year, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, you were given opportunity. What did you do? That yesterday will speak for you today and tomorrow. So, Prince Otu is a sellable candidate already. So we don't need to compare him with personalities. We need to put the issues on the ground. What he did yesterday and what he's promising on today are issue based. And we have confidence in him. So we are hopeful.
Thank you so very much. This is where we just have to hang the show. Indeed, we'll be having when we go for the tour in the central and the south, we will have to still have this engagement. But I must really thank Honorable Tufam Dr. Peter Oje, Senior Special Advisor, Political Affairs, representing leaders of Cross River North. Thank you very much, Tufam, for your time on the show this evening.
Thank you for having me.
And the only lady in our midst, Honorable Mrs. Vera Denya, representing the women. Many thanks for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
And my very good friend and brother, Barrister Benyong Akaba, Media Aid to Distinguished Senator Prince Otu. Thank you for your time on Weekend Politics.
Thank you so much, Abukar.
And not forgetting Honorable Boniface Okache, Special Advisor, Urban Development, Urban Renewal here, representing the youth. Thank you for the great time hosting you on the show. Thank you for being here. So, gentlemen and ladies, thank you very much. This is where we want to bring Weekend Politics to an end. We will have this engagement further as the weeks unfold. This is where we have to bring Weekend Politics for this week to an end. Join us next Sunday, God willing. My name is Joseph Ian.